Good day, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our episode number 2 of You Don't Have to Be Retired to Enjoy the Benefits of Retirement. Once again with me, Hanlie, thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you, Charl. Very nice to be back again.
Yes. Yeah, so we are going to, this is now episode 2 of 3. We're going to have the last episode in November. And in general, we are going to be covering a few topics across the board. So for those of you who have missed episode number 1, please follow the link that we will be posting in the comments section that will take you through to our webinar and our YouTube channel. And you can please subscribe there and make sure to watch our previous video. There's a lot of information in there that will be very beneficial as well. And we're going to touch a bit on it. We're just going to have a bit of a recap just now on what was covered in that previous webinar as well. So today, I think our next topic, Hanlie, we're going to be covering a bit more of the facts of, who is the people that needs to consider this type of concept. And if we look back at the previous one and just quickly touching on it, we are going to continue with the principle of perception.
That's so true, Charl. I think we said last time as well that there's still a very old way of looking at what retirement estates are all about, And I think that's where we as Central Development played a major role in terms of just redefining, and pioneering a more modern approach to retirement estates and those that we grew up with and that we were used to.
Correct. So, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who have joined our webinar now for the first time, this is sponsored by Waterkloof Marina Retirement Estate and Celebration Retirement Estate. So for those of you who maybe haven't visited these retirement estates in the past or don't know of them yet, Waterkloof Marina is our 12th retirement estate in Waterkloof Reach in Pretoria, one of our mega retirement estates, and Celebration Retirement Estate is our 13th retirement estate in North Riding in Johannesburg, right opposite the Northgate Mall. And both of these developments really ideally located, and it's proudly brought to you by the Central Developments Property Group. So I would also like to invite you to post your questions to Hanlie and myself directly, not necessarily on the webinar. We would like to have a bit more of a personal discussion with you. That's always beneficial. There are so many things to actually discuss when it comes to our retirement estates. It's not straightforward. It's not just what you see is what you get. There is really a lot more information that we would like to discuss with you. And it's not only about the price. In actual fact, you are not buying a unit here. You're not buying brick and mortar when you're considering our retirement estates. Might be the case with other retirement estates, whether you're looking into life rights or anything like that. With our retirement estates, it's all sectional title, and that's what we're going to delve into a bit more today. Anybody can benefit from this sort. So myself, Charl, you will see my email address there, charl@centraldev.co.za. If you've got any questions regarding Celebration Retirement Estate, specifically in the north of Joburg, or if you're looking for a place in Joburg to retire, please feel free to send me an email directly, and I would love to get back to you and answer your questions and give you a call. And for Hanlie on Waterkloof side, if you have any specific questions regarding Waterkloof, and even if you just have more questions regarding the retirement concept, or what are the benefits? What are the things to watch out for? There isn't a lot of options available in Gauteng when it comes to retirement per se. And when we are going to be looking at a slide recap, we're going to touch a bit on that as well.
Yeah. I think what's very important, Charl, is that people are welcome to come and visit us. Apart from me and you, we have a team, of specialists who've been selling retirement, and especially our type of retirement living, for some years. So they are available 7 days a week. There's no obligation to buy. They can just come and visit us, come and see for themselves what distinguishes us from all the other retirement offerings that's out there in the market.
That's very important. So if we start then and we go to the first section and just do a quick recap on what episode number 1 was all about, we spoke about the perception, and we're going to carry this through all the way to episode number 3, because we saw that is one of the biggest obstacles that people face is their own perceptions that they are making about something. So you must see it for yourself in order to break that perception, if it was a different perception that you had, to align your perception with the reality, at the end of the day.
That's so true, Charl. I think every time when somebody new visits us, the first thing they say is, but this is everything but an old age home,
Yes.
And I think that's what we've been speaking about, is to change those perceptions, those preconceived ideas. And you can only do that if you come and see for yourself what it is that we have to offer, And like we also said last time, choosing a retirement estate, one really has to do that sooner than later. Don't wait until you can no longer make decisions for yourself. Decide to do it the sooner the later, because we also touch on the fact that one's health is not guaranteed. We often find it where people say to us that, but I'm still a young 80 or a young 90, just to be phoned a couple of weeks later to say they've suffered a serious health setback, So what I think is important for us, and what we see all the time, is that you should rather make it sooner than later, so that you yourself can do your homework, decide where do you want to move to, what do you want to take with. And I think on a lighter note, we also spoke about some of the residents who said to me that they would rather choose where they want to stay before their children make the choice for them, So that's a very important consideration in terms of doing that, making that decision earlier.
Yeah, and retirement estates, as part of that perception, I think that people don't realize is that where you're going to live one day when you decide to retire, whether you are fortunate enough to retire at a much earlier age, whether you are unfortunate or retiring at a later age due to whatever reason, you would like to get where you are going to retire, covering the main boxes of security, of independent living, an active lifestyle, your health care. You want to cover those type of things much earlier in your life and secure it. As you say, make your own decisions still. You don't want to reach a point where something unforeseen in your life has happened and all of a sudden somebody else needs to make a decision for you, and it would not necessarily have been what you've wanted, wherever they decide to do it, etc. So
if I can just add on to
please.
that.
Yes.
Sure. What's also very important, and but what's very important is location. I think that's very important for us. We've seen it over the years in terms of access to major and prominent hospitals, good doctors, good specialists, but also with people working until they are older, the importance of having good access to highways, getting to the airport easily for work purposes. So those things are also important. And if I can just say something else, somebody who bought a house from us over the weekend, she had lunch with a friend of her, and the friend's husband recently passed away. And she said to him, if I can give you advice today, is make the decision whilst you're both alive. She says, because it's easier to then do your homework, choose where you want to stay, and make those big decisions together. She waited too long, and now her husband sadly passed away, and suddenly she has to make all those big decisions on her own. So she said to them, take my advice, please listen to what I'm saying. Just do it now, and whilst you can do it together, and whilst you can enjoy all the benefits of what we have to offer in a safe and secure environment.
That's very true. And if you take on life and getting older and accepting it that it's inevitable, you are going to reach a retirement age, you are going to become less active. If you realize that in an earlier stage in your life, it's going to be the transition will be a lot easier. And rightly, as you say, when you've made that decision together and you've moved together, the unfortunate things that always comes along with the passing of a loved one is the wrapping up of the estate, which takes a long time, and the stress that goes along with that. And now you have to scale down from this property and you have to get rid of things. So if you've done all of that pre the decision making for that, everything is so much easier, less stress.
The transition and everything, is really much better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, ladies and gentlemen, that was just in a nutshell what we have touched on in episode 1. So please follow the link, go and view episode 1. You'll find it very interesting. It's not a long webinar. It's only about 45 minutes. And today's one will also be around about 40 minutes or so. So please stay tuned right until the end. You're going to enjoy the conversation that Hanlie and myself is going to have. And we're looking forward to your questions and insights and inputs with regards to that as well. All right, so let's get into it. Now, Hanlie, the big question or the big reason that we get often from a lot of clients that inquire, which we get in contact with, or that comes to the site out of curiosity or whatever the case might be, when you start asking the hard questions, you know, are you ready to take on a new chapter in your life and enjoy this over 50s lifestyle? The perception is still there. You know, they hear the word retirement and then they come and a client would say, no, I'm not there yet. Sorry, you know, I'm still too young to think about that, or I'll think about that when I reach that age. And normally those clients are already 65, 70 or 75, you know, which is ideal lifestyle for them.
Yeah, no, that's very true. And I think we spoke about the fact that it's that perception. You know, and like I also said in the previous episode, is us working in the estate on a daily basis and just witnessing how much our residents are enjoying the lifestyle we have to offer. You know, and they also, when they initially got there, had the same mindset of, no, I'm too young. It's not for me yet, you know. So, yeah, I think that is typically part for us in terms of changing the perceptions that people have. And therefore, again, the invite to say, come and visit us, come and see for yourself, you know, what it is that we have to offer and why there's no better time than now to make that decision to move.
Yes. And I think the testimonials, the numerous testimonials that we've received, you know, from clients stipulating that it was a life changer for them. And we believe that what we are doing here as a developer and with Waterkloof Marina and the other 13 that we had in celebration is that we are improving people's lives.
Absolutely.
We are making better opportunities available, you know, for people. And that's what retirement should be all about. This webinar is all about retirement. It's about educating. It's about passing along more information so that people have more to work with when they start doing their homework. Because effectively, and you will see when you go onto our website and to our YouTube videos on retirenow.co.za, not just the webinars. If you go onto that, you will see the numerous testimonials of people. Go and listen to that. That's like a review, you know. Before you buy something, you read the reviews. What do other people say? And that is powerful. You know, don't take our word for it.
Listen to what others have to say.
Take the word of the residents and listen what they have to say.
Like I said to you this just now, you know, last night I read the beautiful testimony of somebody who recently, 5 days ago to be, you know, 5 days and they moved into celebration, and where she writes that it feels like a holiday camp, and she was so warmly welcomed, and she had her first church service that she attended, and she felt like part of the family. And I think that's what's so important about what we have to offer, is that you become part of a close-knit family where people really care for one another, you know. But we do appreciate the fact that this is a huge heart and mindset shift. It's not easy after having lived in your house for 50 years to now give up everything that have meant a lot for you in your life. So it is a huge heart and mindset shift. And if you speak to anybody who lives in our estates, they will tell you they've gone through the exact same emotions. They've all moved from a 400-500 square meter house into the estate, but they timelessly realized the importance of scaling down and decluttering their life. So when one does your homework of where you want to stay, don't think about the here and now, you know, because then you will end up with the same big house you had somewhere else. Think really about what would you need in future, in years to come, you know, and very important is the lock up and go principle. That's very, very important, because people want to travel during this season of their life and they want to make memories. And I don't know about you, Charl, but in our case, we have quite a lot of people there whose children live abroad, so for them, this is the ideal place to stay because they can easily lock up and go and visit their children and know that their house is safe and everything is secure.
Nobody has to worry about who's going to maintain the pool and who's going to do this and all those type of things. No, you're 100% right. Okay, so let's carry on to the next one. And we are still on the subject of who should consider these retirement estates. So once again, the reason why we call this development or these developments or retire now, the group of retirement estates that we've got, retirement estates, is purely just because of the audience that will effectively be living there, and that is the over 50s. So not to say that you have to be retired. It's just the easiest way to explain what this concept is all about. When you are looking at student accommodation and you would call something student accommodation, you're calling it student accommodation because it is designed for students and it's got the necessary things for students. So when it comes to these two type of estates, they are for the person over 50, the active lifestyle. And why are they for the over 50s? Because it's not an old age home. Because you've got the freedom to work from home. You've got fiber. You've got the security. You've got the safety in terms of walking at whatever time of the day or night in safe commune, And that is effectively what we are striving for. So anybody can consider these retirement estates as an option. And a bit further on, we will also take it a bit apart more and narrow it down because it's not only for the retiree, it's not only for the over 50.
And I think especially, Charl, with the our life span that increases, the fact that we will live longer now. People will no longer retire when they're 60, or 65. Because of this, they will retire at an older age. And that's why it's so important to have what we are offering to people to say, come and enjoy all of this. One of the residents said to me the other day that we in Gauteng, can you 5 minutes after you get back from work, be in a boat fishing, and with him and his wife both working from home, she gets to walk at 10 o'clock at night, in a safe and secure environment. So I think what we have to offer, we actually meet the needs of a variety of people, We can see on the houses side, it's people who are more active, they might even still be working. We've got quite a big percentage of people still working. They're still active. They want to participate in a lot of activities like cycling or walking, being part of social clubs and things like that. So that's fine. That's ideal because it works very well for them, On the other side, when you look at the apartments, we there again cater for a different type of person with different needs. Some are still younger, 50 working from home, but we do find that it's more older people who stay there, and that's their choice. They're tired of gardening. They've had a garden all their life. They just now want to live, enjoy all the facilities that we have to offer, and at night they can retire to their house and, not have to worry about a swimming pool or gardens or anything like that, So, and we have seen that some of those people are more dependent, on a wheelchair or some form of other aid, and they want to be closer to the lifestyle facilities and also the medical care facilities, So we can really cater for different people within an estate.
That's an important thing. You've got a range, you've got options, you've got choices. And I think we've mentioned it in the first webinar as well, in the first episode, is that migration is very possible in a retirement estate like this because you are buying it outright. And maybe you start off at a younger age in a bigger property, a 2 or 3 bedroom type of house. And, after 20 years or whatever the case might be when life happens, the place becomes too big for you. You want to migrate to something smaller again. But the last thing you want to do is move out of the estate. You would rather move to a different unit. You might even decide to keep your unit rented out and use that rental income and rent another unit, not necessarily buy. So there's so many different options. I think you've said it quite well.
And I think that's what makes us so unique. It's not just something like you say for a specific target market or target audience. We can really cater for different people. And then again, we mustn't forget about our investors, because that's again another target audience that we're focusing on quite a bit. We find that there's a lot of people who want to grow their property portfolios, and they've realized that retirement property is actually a very good investment.
So we'll get to the investment section just now. All right. So let's move on, Walter, please, to the next one. Okay, so if we then say the primary objective is for people to enjoy an active lifestyle for as long as possible, I think we've covered that.
Yes.
That is the purpose.
Yeah.
You don't want to sit somewhere and just get older. You want to enjoy it as you are there. And the economically active lifestyle ties in with good health. It ties in with who's around you, who are you sharing these experiences, and with the working from home situation as well. Even if you do retire or have to go on a retirement at 65, we have so many clients who's working from home as retired engineers or architects or professional people that still consult, and literally that's what makes the working from home quiet environment, talking about the quietness. I think that is probably under the top 5 reasons of people that moves to our retirement estates and say, listen, I cannot stand this noisy estate anymore where I'm living, and the parties and the this and the that. And the small thing you don't think of really in the retirement estates, even when you take the apartment blocks, because the audience is entirely different.
Absolutely.
You don't have that typical traffic throughout the day with cars in the roads. The roads are quiet. You don't have that pile up at the security gate for everybody to get in after work or leave for work or when they pick up the kids and all those type of things. So there's the small things which people don't think of, and that's what we want to encourage everybody. If you think about the smallest little thing, we've heard about so many retirement estates that when people come to us, they are quite amazed that we say, no, there's no restriction for visitors coming to visit, staying over, grandkids are welcome, please. We over school holidays, there's a bit of a different vibe there. The kids are in the pool and everybody's enjoying the grandkids. And, we encourage that. That's what it should be like,
I can't agree with you more, Charl. By us as well, holiday times we absolutely love because the whole estate come alive. But what I've also, things that the residents stress all the time is the fact that they've made such new good friendships in the estate, and that's why it's important as well to move in time so that you get time to get to know other people. We have more than 50 social groups, for example, that you can participate in, from woodwork to needlework to playing bridge. Line dancing is the latest one that we have. So there's really so many things to keep you busy, and that's how you meet other people, and every quarter we have we have resident brides, we've got an electronic newsletter, we keep people up to date with what's going on. So like you say, we like a close-knit community on our own where it's quiet and tranquil, and it's like-minded people enjoying the same things as you do.
Yeah. Very, very, very important. Okay. Walter, thanks. Let's go on to the next one. So we say as a person ages, we spoke about the lock up and go lifestyle becomes more important. Even if it's not important to you right now, it might become important.
Yes.
Things will change. The kids will move away. You'll need to travel a bit more. And we've got a lot of clients who's actually relocating from the coastal areas to Gauteng because this is where the kids are. This is where the grandkids are. And when you look at costs nowadays of traveling and fuel and time spent on the road and dangerous and all those type of things, it just makes sense to, as you said a while ago, location's so important. Be in the location where you are in a close proximity to your friends, your family, your kids, and all those type of things, And I see there's the example you've given us as well about the client of yours that, and it's really a fact. today as well, I saw that so many people are enjoying the fact that we've just had some rains and the ground is a bit more wet and everybody's in the garden and everybody is planting and everybody is prepping for the new garden season coming up. And in the later afternoons when it's not as hot, you see everybody walking with their dogs and you see everybody going fishing. Fishing and bird watching and all those type of things. And the nice thing is, it constantly changes.
Yeah.
The estate constantly establishes more and it grows.
Yeah.
And every time you get to a certain section, you see, the trees are much bigger and there's new ducks here. And in celebration at the small pond we've got little ducklings now. We had 10 little ducklings. So that's quite a new attraction. Welcome little ducklings. So considering who's considering these unique retirement estates, it's not just retirees.
No.
Can we say the children plays an equal important role there?
Yes, the children plays a very important role in terms of also choosing the places where their parents need to stay these days. And I think especially where children are living abroad, those children want to know that wherever their parents stay, they are well taken care of. They're in a safe and secure environment. And I always say to children, allow us to take care of your parents, when you are not around, because we know we all have a hectically busy schedules and lives. We can't always be there for our parents, but I think that's so important, to consider when you buy with us.
And it's a family decision.
Yeah.
We see all the more. Every time we have clients coming to visit us, most of the time the children comes with. It's a family decision. It's a big decision. And as you say, the children wants to also know that mom and dad or mom or dad is going to be safe in the next place that they're moving in. It caters for the future life-changing events, if happens, but also now they don't have to worry as much. The safety, the care, all those type of things are there. It's about the future. It's about planning for that retirement. So the children plays a vital, important part. These retirement estates aren't just for the parents. It's aren't just for the retirees. It's for the children as well. And we're going to get to that slightly a bit later about the benefits and why we refer to these retirement estates as generational sort of investments. So Walter, if you can move on. Yes, Hanlie?
I think what's important, what you just said as well, and I think it comes back to when you do your homework in terms of choosing a retirement estate, Charl, is what's so important, what you mentioned, is the fact that you need to make sure that all these facilities, and especially your medical facilities, are already there and established within the estate. I spoke to a customer this morning, who bought into something and those were promised to them and it never materialized, because that has a major impact on your life then in later years when you really need that type of offering. So it's very important as part of doing your homework, although you don't need all those facilities right now, but you need to make sure that it's there, it's established, and that when the years come and you need it, that it is there and available for use.
That is. It's like buying a fast car. You're not going to drive it fast the whole time, but when you need to overtake somebody, you want to make sure the horsepower is there.
That's very true.
Yeah. Okay. So if we then look at who else is the audience, the market for retirement estates or over 50s lifestyle estates, and we're talking about the investment value purely. There are, I'm a property investor myself. I've got quite a few investment properties and I've got a nice mixed portfolio. I always believe that you must mix up your portfolio when you buy property. Don't always buy property all in the same area, all in one estate, all the same type of property, focusing on the same audience. So if you've got a good mix, at some point when the market goes down for the certain type of investment you have, the other market should do better. There's always ups and downs and to have that balance. So with the retirement estates, the very important factor to raise here, which you can maybe enlighten us a bit about more, is the strength of the rental market from an investment point of view.
I think what's important, what you're saying, Charl, what we've seen over the last couple of months, that our investors start from an age of 30 years and up. A lot have changed over the years. I don't think we grew up, thinking about investments that much into property, but things have changed quite dramatically. So we see them starting from investors from 30, and we are experiencing a very active rental market. There's a very big demand for it, not only from the apartment side, but also from the houses side as well. And I think what's important for us, and with this market that you're looking at, if you buy a retirement property as an investment, is the fact that it's an older market. So it's people who are established. You're going to get your money at the end of the month. You also know that they will take good care of your property. It's not like the younger people who don't really care, and then they're here for 3 months and then they move out again. With our retirement clientele, we find that they're also looking for a longer term commitment in terms of a rental agreement. So I think those are the things that's very important to us. At the moment, we don't even have any, houses left. That's how popular it is in terms of the rental market. So we actually have a waiting list for some apartments and houses. So it's really a very good investment opportunity for anybody out there to invest in it, either to invest in it now, to buy it and come and stay at a later stage, or purely as an investment, like you said, expanding your investment portfolio.
Yeah. So, looking at property holistically as an investment, and as an investor myself, there's a few things that I would consider. So I would decide, am I buying this for long term as part of my pension plan? Am I doing this as a more short term money generator? Am I doing this for buying now, occupying maybe later? And that I found that investors, the percentage of, there's almost no investors, apart from maybe holiday accommodation and those type of things, if you've got longer term plans of that. But there's no investors really, or a very small percentage, that are buying any sort of investment property with his intention to move in there himself in 10 years' time or so, because investors tend to buy more affordable property that's higher in demand in good areas, those type of things. That is also maybe more beneficial on their pocket in the beginning so that they can acquire more properties, etc. But when you're looking at the retirement element here, and you're looking at the benefit of buying or investing in it now, the option is there that you've got something paid off by the time that you want to retire, or if life happens and all of a sudden maybe you bought something smaller in the beginning because that's what suited your pocket. Your intention was never to move in there within 10 or 15 years time from now, but in 10 or 15 years time from now, something might have happened, and you need that sort of investment to now work in your personal benefits for you to move in there, whether you're maybe wheelchair bound and you need something that's got no stairs, you need that on-call assistance, you need that facilities that suits your need more. And that's where the investment value differs in retirement estates versus anything else. My properties that I have in retirement estates are outperforming my normal residential properties by far, just in terms of the fact that I've got long leasing tenants. I've got tenants that would rather extend their lease every year because they love it there, they don't want to move out, etc. They are good payers. So I eliminate that risk of having to let the unit stand empty for a month or two every time I've got a tenant change, and effectively supply and demand is what the biggest growth factor actually is. If you guys go onto our YouTube channel and you go and look at our previous webinars and videos and so forth, I actually did a webinar a while ago as well that you can have a look at, with the differences between conventional investing into normal property versus retirement, what's the benefits, the pros and the cons, and all those type of things. Or pop me an email and I would be happy to answer some of those questions. But the investing now and the occupying later is where we potentially talk to not only the investor, but the younger generation, the kids, the forward thinkers of the future, those who says that, listen, while I'm working, while I'm generating an income, I can do this, because in the future, this is going to count 100 times more in my favor, because availability of these retirement estates are going to become obsolete at some point.
It's so true, Charl. We've just this week had a lady, for example, who is buying 3 apartments, one each for her 3 children, for her 3 daughters, having the insights and having lived there and seeing what we are offering and understanding the capital growth, on these units, she decided, to buy one for each of her children and put them in her will, for them, because you buy full ownership, you can put it in your will, and they will then each inherit this wonderful property that she just bought for them, So I think once you're in the estate as well, and we've seen it with somebody else who's got 3 houses and then bought 10 apartments, as part of their portfolio, because they can see the value of what we are offering and the fact, like you say, the scarcity of something so unique and of this magnitude that we are offering in Gauteng.
You understand that value. And I mean, it's a blessing that they gave to their kids. Not only, they could have gone and chosen any property to buy for them as an investment.
Absolutely.
But now they've bought a multi-use property.
Absolutely.
They've bought a property that's going to be an income for them. They are going to be able to rent it out. If they decide to sell it, they're going to make a much better capital appreciation on a resale for this property. Why? Because we've seen it year after year. Once we've sold out from a developer's point of view, there will be resales, very scarce, because people hold on to the property, they live there, they're going to live there. But there's a waiting list being generated, always people saying, please, as soon as something. And then, as you also said in the beginning, while you've got the option to choose yourself, choose. While we have options for you, choose what you want. You don't want to reach a point where you are now coming into the estates from a waiting list point of view, and you have to take whatever is available.
And the cost at which you're going to buy it, because as long as we're here and we're busy developing, in our case, we've offered 85% sold out, so we still have opportunity for the last people who want to come and secure their dream unit at the marina. But you buy at your lower cost. There's no transfer cost, there's no attorney cost or any other hidden cost. So now is actually the perfect time. One of the people I spoke to yesterday said to me, what, Hanlie, I should have bought 2 years ago when you first launched it, because then already the price was better than what it is now, So my advice would really be, don't wait, don't wait too long before you make this decision. Come and see for yourself. Like we say, we're 7 days a week, the whole week available to be there to answer people's questions and to give advice. We will not force any sale onto anybody. It's purely come and see for yourself what we're offering. Does this resonate with your needs and requirements for the future, and we will gladly assist with whatever possible questions they might have.
When investors ask me, is that old saying, when investors ask me, when is the right time to buy? The answer was yesterday. Because that is a fact. The sooner you can buy or invest into the property, the sooner you can, if you're financing it, the sooner you can start paying off on that bond. If you've waited a year because you're procrastinating for whatever reason, and you've waited a year, you've missed 12 months of the 20-year potential loan, or the sooner paying off that you could have actually done that. Prices of property, especially good property, is not going to drop. It's going to steadily increase. In bad economic times, still increases. Maybe not at the steep rate that it does in good economic times, but it increases. So that is a very important thing to know. If you want to procrastinate, have a very good reason. To do so.
We always say, just get your foot in the door. Just come, take action and secure a unit so that you can have your foot in the door for the future.
Definitely. All right. Walter, if you would go on for the next one for us, please. So we covered, I think, mostly of this. When you're ready, you can move. You've bought this. You've benefited from it as an investment. You've had the capital growth. Capital growth in the retirement estates due to the economies of scale and the principle of supply and demand. You are always capitalizing on good capital growth with retirement estates versus normal conventional property. And the very important thing is, because you're buying full ownership, that is the reason why we say that one day your children can inherit these properties. This can go into the estate and your children can inherit it. I always give my clients the option to say that when you are considering this property to maybe go to the children and you are potentially buying this property cash, do it in the name of the child or the children or the company or the trust that is going to benefit from it after you have passed, so that you can avoid that change of ownership.
That's very true.
So you can do it in your children's name. You can live in the unit. You have the right to live there and all those type of things. And when you pass, your children just carries on with the property. It's their investment. We place a tenant because we offer that service as well. And I'm sure there's a lot of investors on this webinar that is now thinking in the back of their mind, I don't want to deal with tenants and I don't want to deal with older tenants, and those type of things. And, the biggest advantage that I found is that because we have the lifestyle center with the reception there, I barely ever know about anything that goes wrong at my unit, or a bulb that needs to be changed, or something that they're unhappy with, if they are, because they will report it to reception. They are theirs. They are the first point of contact for the tenant. So the management of that is a lot easier, but we offer it to our investors as well. So if you're on this webinar, or if you give us a call and you are potentially looking at this scenario as a future investment, or for mom and dad in a short term, or whatever the case might be, remember that Central Developments does offer a turnkey comprehensive service of securing a tenant. We do the marketing for them. We screen them. We place them. We handle all of the administration. There's no costs involved for that initial service to be done. There's obviously a monthly management fee, but initially there's no commissions payable or anything like that. So you as an investor or a child or somebody that wants to get your foot into the door, as you say, there is a one-stop shop service that is basically offered. Rent it out until you're ready. The full ownership, the sectional title element of this is what allows you to actually do that. Life rights won't allow you to do that. Other scenarios won't allow you to do that. It's literally only full ownership, sectional title. So important, do your homework, know what the T's and C's and everything is. All right, Walter, is there another slide for us to quickly have a look at, or have we come to the end of it? Awesome. So I'm in a bit of the way. So episode 3, ladies and gentlemen, the 16th of November, we will be looking at episode 3. And I hope this webinar and this episode has been insightful. So if you want to follow the whole range, please go back and have a look at episode number 1. Share, and we always say sharing is caring. There's a lot more people that needs to know about this. It's very important. Everybody needs to know about this. Doesn't matter if everybody is doing something different, or if you decide to go to the coast, or if you decide to immigrate, or if you decide to do whatever, you are getting older. Everybody is getting older. So in our opinion, Hanlie, I think everybody needs to know about this. Everybody needs this information. It's important. It's insightful. It helps you to make a better decision, whether it is with us or not with us. At least you've covered all of your bases. So in the next and final webinar, we will be delving a bit more into detail about the typical services that you can expect and what the retirement estate per se is a bit all about. And Hanlie, thank you very much for joining me again on this one.
Thank you, Charl. It was lovely. And like I say, we are available. We're working this weekend again. So contact us, and like you say, do visit Facebook, Retire Now on Facebook. There's some very valuable videos and information. And like you said, do share it with people who could also benefit from this.
It's always important to subscribe, share, like, all those type of things, because then you will be notified of new content that comes up. If you want to be on our database, let us know so that we can get in contact with you. But if you don't feel you're going to benefit from this right now, please send it to somebody that I'm sure you would help to enrich their life as well. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for this. Behind the scenes, thank you very much. Hanlie, thank you. And we hope to see you all soon. Thanks.